want that one. I want the cold one. You want what? The cold one. I want the cold one in the middle.
Glad everybody's here tonight. Welcome, and it's a great evening, great turnout, and appreciate everybody's participation in a very special event for the 145th anniversary of St. Luke's. As most of you know, I take a different element in nature each year and use that as a spiritual study and a spiritual guide. This year has been stars, and as I found out last night, I have a lot more to learn about stars. It's been kind of a slow year on that particular topic. Busy with everything, a lot of other things, but so that's why we've had the stars for Sunday school theme. The board was in the hall and the bulletin board. Every large star represents someone who worshiped with us on Sunday in worship, either in person or virtually, and the little stars are weekly Sunday school attendance. So that is what that is, and just because Nanette kind of humors me with my annual spiritual studies. So tonight we're gathering to think about stars. If you follow your program, I think you'll be able to keep up, and I'll probably let you know where we are when we change gears. Right. Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, Don. Let's get Don a chair.
He's got
Okay.
one.
He's got one.
He went and got one for it.
We got a competition.
Yeah.
A bird.
St. Francis. Birds will just join us while we preach.
Talk loud.
Hi, John.
Why did you not just leave it up there?
We'll start the program tonight focused on God calling the stars into being. God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night. They will mark events, sacred seasons, days, and years. They will be lights in the dome of the sky to shine on the earth." And that's what happened. God made the stars in two great lights, the larger light to rule over the day and the smaller light to rule over the night. God put them in the dome of the sky to shine on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and separate the light from the darkness. God saw how good it was. And Joyce Kilmer has said, only God can make a tree. Well, only God can make a star, too. If we were at Union Station, at the planetarium, they could project some stars for us overhead, and it would be maybe more realistic, okay? If we were under the beautiful skies of Colorado, we could see the stars more clearly once it's dark, right? But here, beneath the setting sun, we're going to depend on our imaginations, right? So I'm going to ask you, now, Mike, don't fall asleep. I'm going to give you permission to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes and imagine the passing of time. 30 minutes, an hour. The sun is set. Maybe with the parting clouds, we may be able to see a few stars. Stay in that place for a moment and gaze at the stars in your imagination. With the stars still shining above and beyond our limited existence, open your eyes and let us read together declaring the glory of the stars. Whenever we stand beneath the open skies to ponder God's handiwork, we are moved to wonder at the poetry of God's thoughts revealed in endless patterns of light. How limitless the creative power of the one who first scattered the stars as a sower flinging bright seeds. How fathomless the the thoughts of the one who named and remembers each burning star, and who also names and remembers us. Constellations rise and descend the staircase of the night at God's command. Galaxies spin like dancers. Space and time bend and bow to the gravity of God's great will. May such holy wonders baptize our imaginations, that we might ever be a people shaped by awe at God's eternal power, and a people moved to worship by revelations of God's divine nature. May our hearts be awakened to beat in rhythm to the dance of God's creation. May our ears be turned to hear the songs of stars in their trillion-fold choruses, bearing witness to God's glory and power. May the extravagant beauty of these bright expressions stoke our holy longings, whetting our appetites afresh for all that is eternal and good. God made this vastness, and by love placed us in it, fixed amongst the wonders. Let us be stirred by the night skies, lifting our thoughts to God, our Maker, and to the vast, beautiful infinitude of God's designs. Let us praise God in the cathedral of creation beneath the starry dome. Let our adoration in this place, where we are so small and yet so greatly loved, be offered to our God. Amen. Now, look toward the heavens and count the stars, God said to Abram, if you are able to count them. In his wonderful book, The Soul of Christmas, Thomas More calls attention to the guiding star that appeared in the night sky of the Christmas narrative. While More does a spectacular job interpreting the symbolism of the star in relation to the birth of Christ, he might well have been writing about another starry night when he said, "The star gives image to our potentiality. It is out there in space, up and away from the earth. It is unencumbered possibility. It's a shining beacon, another world utopia." Maybe this is exactly what God was trying to say when God told Abram to look toward the stars and count them, if you are able to count them. God was calling Abram to open his imagination to the expanse of a new story and a host of promises still unspoken. So God told Abram, look toward the heavens and count the stars. Abram is told that his descendants will be just that numerous. In the ancient desert, the number of stars must have been staggering. He must have been able to see the swath of the Milky Way. God dared Abram to try to count the stars, assuring Abram that when it came to heirs, Abram was filled with stardust. His children would be as innumerable as the stars above. It was a visual kind of promise, a promise not only specific to innumerable heirs, but a visual promise of Abram's potentiality. That's the message of a star. It's out there in space, up and away from the earth, higher than all our limitations. A star speaks about our unencumbered possibility. That has always been the language and story of the stars, potentiality and possibility. A story above and beyond all imagination. A script written beyond the limitations of our own narratives. The good news of the gospel is that God is still writing stories of promise and blessing in the stars. From Abram to the birth of baby Jesus to our own congregation's story. God's message continues to be a story of promise, of possibility, and potentiality. This morning, we considered how St. Luke's has been blessed through these 145 years and offered God our praise. Tonight, we look to the stars and ponder the unencumbered possibility and promise that are ours as a congregation. In the stars, we see countless stories yet untold. Just as we may be prone to forget that we are blessed, we may forget, or at least fail, to live into our full potential and promise. Abram remembered that he was blessed by building an altar and worshiping God. Tonight, And each time we lift our eyes to the stars, let us behold the untold possibilities that are ours at St. Luke's. As we build this altar tonight in the cathedral of God's creation, let us renew our own commitment to reach for the stars, to open ourselves to the abiding presence of God of all blessing, who empowers us to be more and do more to reach our divinely appointed potential together at St. Luke's. Now we're moving to naming the stars, right? God counts the stars, the psalmist says, by number, giving each one a name. You know, stars are not just for nighttime. I didn't really realize that till last night. But stars fill the sky continuously, both day and night. It just takes the darkness of a night sky for most stars to be visible to the naked eye. But there they are, with or without our imagination, with or without being visible. In fact, it was news to me to learn that the constellation of Gemini is not currently visible in the night sky, despite this being the date of the Gemini constellation, a date that is determined by when the sun, moon, and planets appear to trace a path across the Gemini constellation on their circuits across the sky. Gemini is currently above us in the daytime sky. Right now, just behind you there is Gemini. We can't see it because it's not dark. The light of the sun makes it beyond our seeing. You can catch a glimpse of Castor and Pollux just before sundown tonight as the twins of Gemini sink below the horizon. Gemini is best visible in the night sky in January through March. Yeah, news to me. You have a star map. Since we can't see it in the daylight. You have a star map of Gemini printed behind the text of your program. Okay? The highest star on the star map is the Alpha star, the brightest of the Gemini constellation. That is Castor. Dropping down to the left is the Beta star, the next brightest, Pollux. These two stars are the twin heads of Gemini. Maybe you can catch them around sunset in the night sky looking to the west-northwest tonight. Trace downward from Pollux toward the right column of the program, passing the star Alhena and down to the twins' foot. Make that turn toward the bottom center of the program. Do you see the star that's circled in red just below the foot of the twin? It appears in the program behind the heading Reaching for the Stars. Everybody see it? Find it, James? Find that circled star? All right. There, in that circle, precisely at the celestial coordinates of right ascension 6 hours, 40 minutes, 45.17 seconds, and declension 12 degrees arc minutes, 27.55 arc seconds, though probably not visible to the naked eye, even in Colorado, is a newly named star to be known and registered in the International Stars Registry Vault in Switzerland and recorded in the astronomical compendium, Your Place in the Cosmos, and it will be filed in the U.S. Copyright Office. We are here tonight to dedicate that star in that circle and give it the name St. Luke's United Church of Christ, to the honor of God and in commemoration of our 145th anniversary of St. Luke's United Church of Christ in Independence, Missouri. So all of us who have been to church, who are St. Luke's now, we're stars with people names, right? So all of these stars with people names give way to St. Luke's in the heavens. That's a certificate that I want you to all see, and has our name on there and the name of the star. With all this, internet connection, seems like we just have seems only right we have our name on the star somewhere in the heavens, right? All right. All right, Abram was told, we're changing places now. We're down to that star, the red circle. We're to reaching for the stars. Abram was told to look for the stars at a time when fear filled his life. This seems to be God saying the antidote to fear that binds you is to look to the stars and see the potential and possibility rather than the things you're afraid of. See God's presence and promise. We face many fears that would attempt to paralyze or defeat us. I mentioned some of those in this morning's sermon. Differences, disputes, division, depression, demographics, and deficits. We have two options. We can be downcast, letting deficits defeat and define our potential, or we can lift our eyes and look with Abram to the stars. Tonight, we can only begin to imagine our potential. We can also reach for the stars as we give, as we are able, to our fullest potential to become all God purposes us to be at St. Luke's. There's an offering can that's here behind me. You can make your way to deposit something in there if you have it with you. Online giving is also available. So that's going to be our offering, and it will go to offset the deficit and offset our fears and reach for the stars of our potential. Right? Now, the radiance of blessing. We're all just stars with people names. May St. Luke's United Church of Christ shine with all the radiance of God's blessings on earth, as does St. Luke's United Church of Christ in the heavens. Be well.